Right, we are back. Many of you have probably seen by now the new ice effect that I created. So, as many of you have asked, I'm going to do this in a coaster. So, what we need to do first, I'm going to do it again, I think, on a black background. And I'm only going to do the one, just to see how it turns out. But the good thing about this stuff is if it does go wrong, you can wipe it off, clean it off with some isopropanol and start again. Right, we're going to be using the collab resin and just some black mica powder. We're going to mix up, pour that in, only maybe 2 or 3 millimeters, and then let that cure. So I've just poured into this one. I had enough for 2, so I might try the snowflake again, but I thought, why not try it and get some sparkle, some real frost sparkle. So I'm going to use some of the Marabou rainbow alcohol ink. You could use a normal mica powder for this, like a sparkly white maybe. I'm just going to add a few drops into my leftover black resin here, and you'll see the sparkle. Don't want to go too crazy because I'm probably going to add some more sparkle when I'm doing the actual designs. Right, I will see you for the next stage. Right, our resin is cured. I've had a couple of practice runs on here with a couple of different ways because I am still learning how the stuff works. So what I'm going to try differently this time is actually colour the liquid with alcohol ink. So I'm just adding a few drops of the liquid. Actually, I think there's enough left over from my trial. So there's probably about 1 drop of the sapphire blue alcohol ink. And then to that, I'm just going to add 1 drop of my white alcohol ink. And I'm not going to mix it. I mean, me just putting my brush in is going to kind of mix it up. And then I'm just going to apply that to the surface. And what I have found is that sometimes it just doesn't activate, but you can apply another layer over the top if it doesn't. As if it's too thick, it will struggle. And if it's too thin, it will dry too fast. But I have found that alcohol ink can actually activate the liquid quicker. Let's see if I can get a hyperlapse. Okay, as you can see, we've got some good crystal growth. There's not so much blue, so I'm just going to go in with another layer with some more blue mixed in. So I just added another 3 drops of the paint, and I'm just going with 2 drops of the blue. And we're going to go just on the edges where it's quite, you know, it just stops almost like a wall, and then we'll go around the outside as well, and you can see some of that colour is being sucked up by the existing crystals, but we should get some more growth in these negative areas. And again, if you find areas that haven't really done anything, you can go over, just go around the outside as well, I have found, and that will just help it to reactivate. So as you just saw, the blue activated quite well. It's still going, so we're just going to leave that for a bit longer. So for the snowflake effect, I've had to start again because it went wrong. So in my mixing cup here, I'm just going to add a few drops of the crystal paint, and I'm going to add 1 drop of my sapphire blue alcohol ink. If it wants to come out, that would do. You just tip that round, and then I'm going to add 1 drop of white alcohol ink. Now what went wrong is that I did the design shockingly bad, and it just looked really odd. So I'm just going to get all of that. Might have to add a bit more of the crystal paint because that blue is going to evaporate. Go for 2 more. Now this is going to take some mastering, guys, definitely. It's not going to be an easy task. So I'm going to add some of the ink to the center, and then we're going to come out with some bigger, not bigger, but bigger than my last attempt anyway, because it was just sitting on the surface as well and it wasn't really doing much. It can be unpredictable. And then some smaller ones around the outside. That's the good thing, is you can clean it off. Just don't do what I've just done and use a blade, because it can scratch the resin. Not that that will show through, because the scratches should hide with the second coat. I've probably gone with a bad design again, but we'll see what happens. So it's not the best looking snowflake, but it's a start, isn't it? I've just added a few more small bridges in between the bigger parts. So for this we're going to be using the normal Let's Resin 1-1. It's a lower viscosity than my collab resin, so that should help with any bubbles. Now I did say about adding some sparkle to this. So we've got some, I know I've got sparkle in the black resin, but we've got some Marabou Rainbow alcohol ink. I'm just going to add some to this mixing cup, and then as simple as this, I'm just going in with my paintbrush and then just adding to some areas, not all of it, just to hopefully give it some sparkle. And once that's dry, we can then add our last coat of resin, and I'm going to do that with the other piece as well. So now we can just cover our piece. I'm only going to do a thin, small amount first, just to be able to work out these bubbles, and then I'll top it up with the remainder afterwards. So we then just move the resin around to cover the whole surface. And by doing this, it should drag out a lot of the bubbles from the small intricate details in the piece. And then before pouring in the rest of your resin, just go through, make sure you can see no bubbles stuck in between any of the details, and just work them out if there are any. Small bubbles won't matter because it's an ice effect, so it will just add to the detail, but you just don't want any big bubbles sticking out. Okay, we're all done. I think I prefer this on the smaller scale. I think I needed to add more of the white alcohol ink as well, but you can just see those really good ice effects in there. I think I went a little bit over the top with the Marabou glitter, but it's still, a lot can be done with this, definitely, with different colours, different styles. But as I said, I think I do prefer this, and I forgot to show this one on the last video. so you can get really good snowflakes. Really good effects. Okay, if you have skipped through the whole video to get to this stage, please don't do that, because my last video was 15 minutes long and the average view duration was 4 minutes. This is my job. It's not just from me, it's from most artists. If you skip to the end of the video, it really does harm our hard work. So please go back, watch it through, go up here, click the cog, go in 2 times speed. Really does help. And if you haven't subbed, hit that button for me, give the video a thumbs up and drop me a comment. So this looks like a snowflake under a microscope. You can't really see it in this light, but that glitter also shows up as a purple depending on the angle that you're looking at it. Again, it's a bit messy, but it's something to work on. I think I'm only on day 4 or 5, day 5 now, of playing with this stuff, and it really is magical. Okay, I hope you liked the video. I know this stuff has sold out in quite a few places due to my previous video, so as soon as I can find other sources, I will add the links to the description boxes below. But eBay tends to be, or seems to be, the best place for it at the moment. And I have still been practicing on nails. It's a bit messy, but I know it can be done. Right, I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.